Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabaraka wa sallama tasliman kasira amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Aman ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihah wa qala innani minal muslimin. My dear brothers and respected elders and sisters, we are the creation of Allah. As other creations of Allah, we will not be able to live forever. We surely will have to die and to pass away from this world. You know, like the animals, they have to die. The men, the jinns will also have to die. The plants will have to die or to be destroyed. The mountains, whatever are known as the creation of Allah, they don't have an everlasting life. They have only a temporary life. A life for some time. Then after that, you will have to return to your Lord. The animals and plants, Allah do not say you return. Allah doesn't create them to be His special creations. But men and the jinns are created as a special creation of Allah, whom Allah has given them the choice. Either to believe or not to believe, either to obey or not to obey. Allah has made many creations of Him, some having the choice, some not having the choice. The angels are created not to have any choice, either to obey or not. They must obey willingly or unwillingly. They are made to become so. So there will be, some of them are made to hymns, His praises all the time, to do some work, like taking the life of man. They will do as ordered, without any hesitations or any tin of not wanting to do it. They will listen and obey as told. And these are the angels. Man, so many angels. The angels were so big in sizes that hold the arsh of Allah. At the time of the doomsday, there were angels. How many angels? Holding the arsh, so that you will not be shaking. They are also angels. Angels are a huge creation of Allah. Some jinns too. Jinns are also huge. We are very small. And the Ummah of Muhammad Sallam are meant to have a very short span of life in this world, as compared to the people of the ancient times. They live up to 1,000 years, few hundred years, but we are only living for about 50 years, 60 years. Some are living only for 10 years, and none of us know how long time is given to Anzala. He's thinking you'll be able to live up to 60, but not even 40 he died. Like his father, died at 50. He probably thinking that he will live until 60, 70, as many people are made to die. In average 70. Some countries, the lifespan has increased to 82, 80. So, when is the time span given to live in this world for whom? Pendi. He's driving a car. All of a sudden, we have a phone call. Pendi have passed away, have died. Oh, he has not become the true believer with the good deeds yet. What will happen to him? Then I will say it's a great shame for him to delay, his effort to make himself to become the true believer with good deeds of the highest level. Can't even have khushu in his prayer. He has already passed away. How he will manage himself? At that time, the one who is still alive will just, thinking is so, is very. We pity him that he doesn't become a true believer of the good deeds. He has been postponing his effort in making himself to become true believers of the good deeds, and yet he has passed away. What a tragedy. Like the father of Hanzala dying before becoming a true believer with the good deeds. We do not know that we need to become a true believer with the good deeds before we pass away from this world. No one knows, except when I told them. Prior to this, nobody knows. I did not know. When I was doing the work of Tabligh, nobody told me that you need to become the true believers of the good deeds of the lowest levels, at least to the lower level, before you pass away from this world, if ever you want to be saved from the fire of hell. So in other words, if you are unable to become the true believers of good deeds prior to your death, then you already have passed away, either as a believer or as a person who have entered Islam, or as a kuffar, or as a hypocrite, and you are all the dwellers of hell fire. And these people are known as people of failure, or people who are lost, mentioned in the Quran. So all of us, busy day and night, accumulating wealth, trying to become rich, trying to have a good house, a good car, good food, and so on and so forth. All of a sudden, we pass away from this world with nothing to bring of good action, with no good action, only evil action. And whatever we have in this world, either house or car, will be left behind, because that cars and that house of ours actually doesn't belong to us. It belongs to Allah. We are given only as amanah. Those things like the car, the house, the children, the land are given to us as amanah, as a test for us. They are not given forever. When we die, they are taken away. Either we pass the test or not. If we misuse the gift, the blessing which Allah has given to us, then we have failed the test. If we misuse it, in other words, we do not use it as Allah has ordered us to use it. The body, the eyes, the food, the car. We have to know that these things doesn't belong to us. Not even our eyes, not even our brain, not even our beard. Everything doesn't belong to us. It is all amanah, a trust. It's a test. Unfortunately, we do not realize this. We think it's ours. So I can do whatever I like with my body. Those become prostitute, they say, I'm selling it for money. So anyone can fuck me as long as give money to me. And those who are attending the prostitutes, they are telling this penis of mine is belong to me. I can use it as I like. I can go into all type of vaginas as I like. And these are the people who think that all the parts of their body belong to them. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Allah. You cannot use it according to your wishes and your desire, the way you like it. But you have to use it in the way of Allah. You have to use that body to prostrate in prayer. You have to use that body in going from house to house, from lane to lane, inviting people to Allah. You have to use the eyes to read the Quran. You have to use the ear, the mouth to speak about Allah. Not only for eating. You have to use your whole body for the service of deen, for doing, for inviting people to Allah. And your money you have to give, beside using it for yourself and your family, you need to give it in charity. You have to pay zakat. All these are orders of Allah on the things that Allah has given to us. But we didn't realize that this belongs to Allah, like Hanzala doesn't realize that his penis belongs to Allah. But he thinks it belongs to him. That's why he misuses it. Understand? So we don't misuse what Allah has given us. The blessing that Allah has given us. The blessing means including the food, the drink, the house, the car. Should not be misused. Misuse means not using it in accordance with the desire of Allah. The desire of Allah is to use it in the way which Allah have taught Muhammad SAW. So eating in the way of Muhammad SAW with the intention to please Allah is ibadah. Wearing clothes in the way Muhammad SAW with the intention to please is ibadah. Working in the way Muhammad SAW with the intention to please Allah is ibadah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us with all this blessing as to whether we use the blessing to glorify Allah or to use it for our own desires, whim and fancy. And whole world, the whole people, almost everyone in this world, are using whatever the blessing Allah has given to them for their own, to fulfill their own desires. Because the main reason why they do that, because they think all the blessing which Allah has given them is actually belong to them. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Allah. We never realize this, do we? We realize that all these are belong to Allah. Do we? Or we think that it's belong to you? Yes, it? You think it's belong to you? Or belong to Allah? All the while? All the while?
Belong to me.
Belong to you. Samad? Belong to me. You also belong to me. This is often not mentioned as frequent as it should. That's why we cannot use all the blessings which Allah has given us as per our wishes and desire. It should be according to the desire of Allah. The more we are using all the blessings which Allah has given to us, in the way Allah desired it to be used, the more we become thankful and grateful servant of Allah. If we don't use it according to the desire of Allah, but according to our desire, they become a person who are ungrateful or unthankful to Allah SWT. So when Allah SWT not only giving us food, houses, also give us religion, guided us to the correct path, and then after a while we leave it. We despise the guidance. We forgo the blessing of Allah, of guiding us to the correct path, and we return back to become infidels or kuffar. Then we are very, very ungrateful to Allah. For these people, Allah will put them in hellfire forever, because Allah have given them a very great blessing of Allah. What is the very great blessing of Allah? To be able to recite the great kalimah, to be able to obey Allah, and to follow Muhammad SAW. And yet after some time, you become renegades, or you become murtad, renegades, turn away from the blessing of Allah. Then you are included among those who are very unthankful to Allah. If you persist in turning away from Allah and you don't make repentance, then you become away from Allah. And on the day of Akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish you severely for your unthankfulness. So everything which Allah has given to us is a blessing. The great blessing is Allah give us the blessing of Iman, the blessing of able to obey Allah's orders. Food, drinks, water is all blessing, but that's not the greatest blessing of Allah. The greatest blessing of Allah is this religion, the religion of Islam. If ever you've been given the blessing, to recite the great kalimah, to become a so-called Muslim believer, and then to be able to do the work of inviting people to Allah and able to pray, these are all very great blessing of Allah. And all of a sudden we stop. Like once upon a time, Azri was given the tawfiq to do this work of Rasul. He was with me many years ago. Then all of a sudden he decided to return to ordinary lifestyle, the lifestyle of the mainstream, where no one is doing the work of inviting people to Allah. They are only maybe praying. These are the lifestyle of mainstream Muslim, so-called Muslim. And now he returned back after 12 years of neglecting the great blessing which Allah has given to him. So very unfortunate, and that he is a small boy, a very small size of everything, including his penis, and yet very unthankful to Allah, unthankful for the houses, the food, whatever Allah has given to him, and much more when Allah has given him the deen, when Allah has given him the tawfiq to do the work of Nabi. So my dear brothers, we are actually being tested while we are living in this world. We are not here to become rich or either to become poor. No one wants to become poor, but all people want to become rich. So we are here in this world to be tested as to whether we are using all the blessing which Allah has given to us, for to be able to believe in Him and to obey His orders the way He likes, with the intention to please Him, or to follow our own whims and desires. So if we follow our own whims and desires, then we have failed the test. If we are using all the blessing which Allah has given to us to glorify Allah, to call people to Allah, then we pass the test. Basically, that is the reason as to why we are here. After that, we need to die and have to return back to Allah. We cannot You don't have the choice of not wanting to return back to Allah. Understand? How evil we are, how good we are. We have no choice but to return. A time will come when we have to return. That is called the time of our death. And no one will ever be able to remain forever. Everyone will have to die. It's just a matter of time, earlier or a bit later. Now Anzala lose his father. After some time, he will lose his mother. Then he will lose his sister. Finally, he will lose himself. He will suddenly disappear, and to be disappear and to be forgotten. Everyone forget. All the people have died. In order to make people to remember those people have died, those great leaders, so-called great leaders, they make some museum for them, and then some statue for them, and so on and so forth. So that when people go to the museum of that person, we remember him. Like P. Ramlee, people trying to remember him by having concerts, P. Ramlee, and so on. But basically, people will not remember you. Once you die, you will become the thing which has been forgotten, which has been regarded as never exist in this world. You are in the grave. Whatever you have, the thing that you think belong to you, your car, your house, everything disappeared from you. The moment you pass, the moment you die, everything disappeared. The moment you die, when the house is no more yours, which you think belong to you, but actually doesn't belong to you, it belongs to Allah. That's why you cannot bring it. Why you cannot bring it to your grave? Because it doesn't belong to you. Belong to whom? Belong to whom?
Allah.
Do you know that? Belong to Allah or you don't? Pardon me? You don't. That's why even Samad also, such a so-called intelligence with PhD, but he doesn't know that everything that he has now belong to whom? Belong to Allah. So when time of you to pass away from this world has come, that has to be returned back to Allah. What are the things that really belong to you? Tell me.
Action.
What are the things that really belong to you?
Action, bad or good.
Then you know now. After all these talks about the uselessness of things, then only you come to sense that the things that really belong to me is my good actions. My good action. That will come with me into the grave. Because why it come to you with you into the grave? Because that belongs to you. It doesn't belong to Allah. So why we spend so much time in acquiring durian, acquiring wealth, money, so much time given on the things that we will certainly have to leave it behind. Have you ever seen anybody go to the grave with yakka? Somebody was making fun of themselves. They put into their grave all sorts of their belonging and then covered them. Everyone will say it's insane. We have to live in this world with only a sheet of clothes, white clothes in Islam, and then that will be rotten and eaten by the insects. So what really belongs to us is our good actions. Bad action also belong to us, but we don't mention it because we don't want to bring with us into the grave bad actions. It will become detrimental for us. Then we don't say bad action belong to me. Yeah, but are you happy to have bad actions? It will be of no use to you. It will become turned into fire in the cover. the bad action will turn into fire and snakes bitten you, and that's a bad action, evil action. So when the Prophet ﷺ once said and asked a companion, that when you die, your wealth will go away from you immediately. Your land, whatever in your name, will be no more yours. Your durian, which are given by your father in your name, will be no more written in your name, written in the names of your waris. Now you are only giving the durians, for money, selling it, except our brother Abdul Halim, giving durians to his neighbors, to his kindred, and now I'm in the list of those who are eligible to receive his durian. So he sent durian also to me. For that kind action of his, Allah make it a means of him to know me. He is kind, giving the durian, which not only to himself but to his neighbors, very kind. That kindness of his make it to become the means for his guidance. The more we do good to people, to give money, anything that we have in charity, sincerely, that as those people who help the fraud victim, that person from Malacca, this Halim also from Malacca. Malacca have many good people. Said that person from Malacca, driving all by himself, putting the boats on top of his very small car, got only $50 money in the pocket, but willing to help. Allah is testing him. After that, his good action become viral. People start to give him money, and he said, "This is not what I want." So he give money away, and there's a beautiful girl, a celebrity, want to give him, a 4-wheel drive. He said, "I do not want this." He's sincere. I've asked Allah. His intention is sincere. So this will become a means for Allah to give guidance to us. Do good thing to people sincerely. Even an evil person who like to give charity for the sake of Allah will become a means for his guidance. But if you are, looking so pious, with tasbih everywhere, and with juba and this, but you're very stingy, you're very kedekut or stingy, then it become a means of your guidance being taken away from you. Because Allah do not like people who are stingy. Allah likes people who are loving, kind, good-hearted, like to help people. So the shaitan love the people who are busy worshipping Allah, but so filthy, kedekut or stingy, because these people will easily be the guidance which Allah has given, it will be easily be taken away from them. So the shaitan do not like the evil person who are very generous, who likes to give away his, particularly when he give it for the sake of Allah, that become a means for his guidance. So those who are stingy are the friends of Satan, who don't like to help the poor, the needy, the orphans. So my dear brothers, this world that we are living is, we are only living for a temporary time. We will not be living in this world forever. And our real belongings, our good action. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says, your wealth will leave you the moment you die. It becomes the wealth of your waris. Your wife probably, or your husband probably, or your friends will go along with you to the grave, but they will never go into the grave with you. But Rasulullah said the one that go into the grave is what belong to you. What belong to you is your actions, either bad or good action. We should make a good action to follow us, and that good action of ours will protect us from the punishment of the grave, and also from the punishment of mahsyar, and will be a means for Allah to decide for us to enter paradise and to be saved from hellfire. So my dear brothers, the good things that we have to do in this world, these long years that we are living in, is not to acquire wealth. It's not to acquire large fields of durian or cars and so on and so forth of this material thing, but to acquire good actions. And in order for you to acquire good action, first your belief towards Allah must be able to reach to the level which Allah is pleased. First, we have to recite the great kalima, but the kalima will be no use for you if it only remains in your mouth. You have to go into your heart to the level, at least the level which Allah is pleased. In other words, you have to become the true believers of good deeds. When you become the true believers, then only you are able to have good deeds. If you do not become the true believers of good deeds, and the true believers, you will never have good deeds. So be sure, before you die, you already become the true believers with the good deed, so that you will be safe from the hellfire. So it is in a very small surah of the Quran. You know, Imam Shafi'i is saying that if only people, if the Quran doesn't not reveal, only this surah, and you practice it, you'll be on the road of success. And that surah is the surah Wal Asri. Innal insana lafi khusr. Swear, Allah says, by time, all men are at loss. All men will enter hellfire, except the true believers with the good deeds. And how to become the true believers with good deeds? After reciting the great kalima, you have to do the work, wa tawasa bil haq, to remind and to invite others to the truth. The truth is what? La ilaha illallah Muhammad. And to do the work, wa tawasa bil sabr, with patience. In other words, any evils befallen on you from anyone, you should return that evil deed with good deeds. Okay.